Hi. This is the third lesson for July. Oh, I just got somebody popping in. How about that? So this is an online Zoom makeup class that I am offering for any student who missed lesson 3. I am teaching lesson 3 today, so students can come in person. So you might see a couple of kids log on and I might take a few seconds to acknowledge them. Hi, class has begun. Hi, Srijan, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad you made it. Did this help you today?
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have, can I see your handsome face? All I see is a black screen. It's hard to talk to a black screen, kiddo. There you go. Are you okay with me recording this class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is lesson 3. Okay, so we started the month of July with fables, but this time, instead of animals, really kind of talking about in June, we talked about lions being prideful. Then we talked about cats being kind of stealth and secretive. Then we talked about foxes being very clever and cunning. So this month, we kind of changed to what is the theme of a group of fables. So I chose 3 fables for the first lesson and the second lesson. And today we're going to talk about 2 stories. They're a little bit longer. And the theme of the stories today um, is not about friendship like it was week 1. It's not about fighting. Um, it's about being honest or dishonest. It's about Srijan telling lies, right? So I asked my students this week, you know, wow, how often do you think you tell lies? And I literally had a student, Srijan, say, I never lie. And I looked at him and I went, you might look a little more carefully at yourself because guess what? I'm on page 4. According to a study in the Journal of Basic and Applied Psychology, kids start to lie at the age of 2. An average 4-year-old lies every 2 hours. An average 6-year-old lies every 90 minutes. An average adult lies about 3 times every 10 minutes. Wow. So you can just kind of see from those statistics, the older you are, the more like you are to lie. Why do people lie? And by the way, I'm about to read to you fables about lying. So if fables were written thousands of years ago, and these are stories passed down from generation to generation, this would mean that lying is a part of the human condition. It's almost like we can't help it. So why do we lie? To protect ourselves, to avoid punishment. Whenever you can come back, Srijan, get your video back on. To trick someone, to spare someone's feelings, to gain rewards, to cover up a mistake.
I don't think I can get my video back on because I'm in Docs looking at the thing, the Google
Okay.
Docs thing.
Well, you don't need to be in docs yet because I'm just talking out loud. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to kind of show you that there are 2, just a set of definitions. I always like my definitions. So what is a lie? It is defined as deliberately deceiving, choosing to give a false statement, avoiding the truth. Okay. So a falsehood is the act of lying or making a false statement. So we could be honest or dishonest. I'm pretty sure, Srijan, you've heard this phrase, honesty is the best policy. Guess what? The fable we're going to read to you today is where that phrase came from. Really hard to be honest. So there are arguments about, lying, and they're not simple because there are different degrees of lies. White lies are considered to be harmless, trivial falsifications, and they really don't hurt anybody And sometimes they avoid hurting somebody. So white lies are called pro-social. And what that means is pro means for. So it helps with social situations, helps smooth social interactions, helps us integrate into a group. So let me give you an example. A white lie is sometimes referred to as a protective lie. Let's say, Srijan, hypothetically, you're invited to someone's birthday party and you don't like this person very much. You're not even sure why he invited you, and you really don't like his friend group. They're kind of a rough group of kids. Do you look him in the eye and say, I don't want to come to your party? No. You probably tell a little white lie and say, I'm so sorry. We have a family outing that day, or, I have an event that day, and I'm so sorry. I wish I could come, but this was scheduled long before your birthday. So you make up a lie. Why? First of all, that friend put you in a compromising position when he asked you, because it's kind of rude to offend him and say no. So instead of saying, I don't like you, I don't want to come to your party, which is the truth, of course you don't say that. You lie. What about, I don't know if this has happened to you because it was brought up this week. What if your mom says, Srijan, it's your birthday coming up and you can only invite 5 people? So you invite 5 people, word gets out, you're having a party, and one of your pretty good friends says, Srijan, why didn't I get invited? Okay, you're not going to say, my mom only let me invite 5, because then he's going to feel like I wasn't the top 5, right? So you say, oh, your invitation must have been sent to the wrong email address or the wrong address. And you go home and tell mom, I didn't have a choice, right? I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Let me give you an adult example. A boss asks an employee, hey, how's the project going? I know you're about to present this project. I just want to kind of an update. Let's say, you're about halfway through and it's due in 2 days. It's going really well, boss. I feel like I'm getting, I'm getting really on the other side of it. I feel really good about it. You don't say, I'm done with it. Because then your boss is like, let me see it. But you don't say, I'm struggling, I'm having a really hard time, I don't know what I'm doing. You make it sound like everything's going to go well. A friend is playing a board game with you. They think you cheated, and maybe you did. But when they ask if you cheated, do you admit it? No, because they'd never play a game with you again. So white lies are considered permissible. They're considered harmless, trivial. But what happens if you tell too many white lies? It can become a habit, and then it becomes one lie after another, which kind of add up to a big lie. I don't think I have to tell you, big lies aren't good, right? And big lies are, basically you're intending to lie. You're intending to deceive, which means big lies are destructive. Big lies are premeditated. You know you're going to lie before they come out. And I think white lies, the reason they're harmless is they kind of pop out and we feel a little bit bad about them. But big lies destroy relationships. Big lies will cause the liar to be isolated. Big lies destroy relationships and trust. Okay, but we all do it. The bigger the lie, the bigger the consequence. So let me give you an example. And by the way, I know a lot of teenage workers who do this, and I have fired one of mine for this exact thing. They called in sick to work. Actually, she didn't call in sick to work. She didn't call at all. She didn't let me know at all. She just no-showed her shift. And later when I talked to her, she said she was sick. Okay, so I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But imagine your mom or dad calling into to work saying they're sick, which is legitimate, right? For example, I have COVID, but they don't have COVID. And the boss finds out they lied. I mean, this could really, even if the boss doesn't fire him right away, and I didn't fire my employee right away until I really learned more details. There were more reasons than that. But it certainly didn't make me trust that employee, which was the reason I actually did let her go. When it came down to it, I couldn't trust her. What if you lie to the IRS on a tax return? Well, you don't. You'll get a huge penalty. What if a police officer pulls you over for speeding and you lie? I promise you, you're going to get the ticket. He knows you sped. He got you on the radar gun. What if your mom or dad lie to each other? Well, this is going to damage their relationship. What if a student lies about homework, Shreejan? I get this one a lot. Mrs. Hensel, my internet was down. I must have sent my homework to the wrong email. And that works once, but over and over and over again, it gets big, right? What if you lie to a coach? You just didn't feel like going to practice. I had a family event, or God forbid, my grandmother died. Yeah, that's not something you want to lie about. Yeah. Your coach is going to lose respect for you. Your teammates probably too. You're not going to get playing time. And if a friend lies to another and it's big enough, it could cost the friendship. So really interesting. I'm going to show you two studies here. George Lakoff from the University of Georgia discovered married couples, your mom and dad, Shreejan, you should show them this. In every 1 of 10 interactions, one of them will lie. Unmarried, it increases. In every 1 in 5 interactions, the male or female will tell a lie. So what you're getting here is probably a little surprising. Lying is just something we do as human beings. It's part of the human condition. And I think when you feel bad about lies, you're probably a pretty good person. That's kind of if you have a conscience about it. Robert Feldman from the University of Massachusetts discovered another finding, Shreejan. Guess what? When he put participants into a room for 10 minutes and said, just socialize, talk to each other, he found that they lied 3 times while in a 3-minute conversation. But get this, when he told them they lied, they said, no, I didn't. I did not lie. He showed them the playback of the recording and they were like, oh my gosh, I did lie 3 times. Women are more likely to tell lies that make another person feel good. Males are more likely to tell lies that make themselves look better. Okay, good to know. So according to Feldman, it's easy to lie. Okay. We teach our children honesty is the best policy. I'm pretty sure your parents have said that. But we also tell them it's polite to pretend they like a birthday gift they've been given. Someone gives you a birthday gift, Shreejan, and they ask you point blank, did you like my present? You don't say, I hated it, right? You say, I liked it. Thank you so much. It was a very thoughtful gift. So kids get a mixed message. Is lying good? Is lying bad? Am I going to get in trouble? And the answer is, it's not that simple, right? So let's go to the monkey and the dolphin. You don't have to, I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it for you, Shreejan, so you can stay right there. So don't worry. Can you see the story? So you don't have to go anywhere. So we're going to start with the monkey and the dolphin. Pay attention at the beginning of the story because it's going to matter and it's going to explain something. The monkey and the dolphin. It happened once upon a time that a certain Greek ship bound for Athens was wrecked off the coast close to Piraeus, the port of Athens. So Piraeus is a place. Had it not been for the dolphins, who at that time were very friendly toward mankind, and especially toward Athenians, all would have perished. But the dolphins took the shipwrecked people on their backs and swam with them to shore. Now, it was the custom among the Greeks to take their pet monkeys and dogs with them whenever they went on a voyage. So when one of the dolphins saw a monkey struggling in the water, he thought it was a man and made the monkey climb up on his back. Then off he swam with him toward the shore. The monkey sat up grave and dignified on the dolphin's back. You are a citizen of the illustrious Athens, are you not? Asked the dolphin politely. Yes, answered the monkey proudly. My family is one of the noblest in the city. Lie. Indeed, said the dolphin. Then of course you often visit Piraeus. Yes, yes, replied the monkey. Indeed I do. I am with him constantly. Piraeus is my very best friend. Bigger lie. Piraeus is a place, not a person. This answer took the dolphin by surprise, and turning his head, he now saw what it was he was carrying. Without more ado, he dived and let the foolish monkey to take care of himself, while he swam off in search of some human being to save. The moral: one falsehood leads to another. Okay, so a couple things in the story here, Srijan. This is not a happy ending. Big lies have big consequences. So I want to kind of go back right here in the story. The dolphin saw a monkey struggling in the water. Let's be clear. The dolphin saved his life and was carrying him on his back, taking him to shore. And when the monkey lied not just once, but twice, he dived and left the foolish monkey to take care of himself. So my question, Srijan, is what happened to the monkey?
He might have like just died, drowned.
He did. He did. He drowned. If he was struggling before, the odds are pretty good he's struggling again. So this time he wasn't going to be saved. The lie cost him his life. Okay, so nothing as dramatic as that. Okay, so remember that in fables, they are symbolic. Who's the monkey? Us. We're the monkey. We're the ones who lie. We're the ones who make it worse for ourselves when we lie. And the bigger the lie, the bigger the consequence. Okay, so we're going to turn to a better story because this guy's honest. Mercury and the Woodman. So this is the fable where honesty is the best policy. That phrase comes from. A poor woodman was cutting down a tree near the edge of a deep pool in the forest. It was late in the day, and the woodman was tired. He'd been working since sunrise, and his strokes were not so sure as they'd been early that morning. Thus it happened that the axe slipped and flew out of his hands into the pool. The woodman was in despair. The axe was all he possessed with which to make a living, and he had not money enough to buy a new one. As he stood wringing his hands and weeping, the god Mercury suddenly appeared and asked what the trouble was. The woodman told what had happened, and straightway the kind Mercury dived into the pool. When he came up again, he held a wonderful golden axe. "Is this your axe?" Mercury asked the woodman. "No," answered the honest woodman, "that is not my axe." Mercury laid the golden axe on the bank and sprang back into the pool. This time he brought up an axe of silver. But the woodman declared again his axe was just an ordinary one with a wooden handle. Mercury dived down for the third time, and when he came up again, he had the very axe that had been lost. The poor woodman was very glad that his axe had been found and could not thank the kind god enough. Mercury was greatly pleased with the woodman's honesty. "I admire your honesty," he said, "and as a reward, you may have all three axes, the gold, the silver, as well as your own." Okay, so Srijan, the story could end here. But no, we have to take the lesson, really hone it in. The happy woodman returned to his home with his treasures, and soon the story of his good fortune was known to everybody in the village. Now, there were several woodmen in the village who believed that they could easily win the same good fortune. They hurried out into the woods, one here, one there, and hiding their axes in the bushes, pretended they had lost them. Then they wept and wailed and called on Mercury to help them. And indeed, Mercury did appear, first to this one, then to that. To each one he showed an axe of gold, and each one eagerly claimed it to be the one he had lost. But Mercury did not give them the golden axe. Oh no. Instead, he gave them each a hard whack over the head with it and sent them home. And when they returned next day to look for their own axes, they were nowhere to be found. Where did their axes go?
Into the lake.
Well,
Way down.
we don't know that. We know that Mercury knew what they were up to and probably took them, right?
Mhm.
I don't know that he would put them in the lake. It's not a terrible idea. I never thought of that. So obviously the moral here is honesty is the best policy. So I have two videos about lies and white lies. I'm not going to play them on this recording. I am going to tell you. The first one's kind of short, sweet, and it really is everything we talked about at the beginning of class. I just basically took the facts out of the video. And the second one is from the BBC. Why do people lie so much? So a little bit more of British perspective. And again, these are your definitions. So I'm going to go to the very bottom and I'm going to show you the synonyms for dishonest. And I want to ask you, how would you like someone to describe you as this? Deceptive, unscrupulous, fraudulent, unfair, unprincipled, shady, corrupt, crooked, underhanded, two-faced. Because if that's how they're describing you, you're probably a liar. The other opposite end of that spectrum is honesty. How would you like someone to describe you as sincere, credible, noble, having integrity, reputable, fair, honorable, conscientious, principled, ethical, reliable, forthright? I've got to be honest, Regent, I would love my president to have these qualities, right? But I haven't met one yet that has all of those. So lies can be good and bad. We kind of went over that. Let's go to your essay outline here. So basically, in the lead, I'm just describing these two stories because they are telling this theme that, these are stories where, lies had consequences. And honesty really had a consequence too, in a good way. So that's what we do here in the lead. What we're going to prove today is both fables, Mercury and the Woodman and the Monkey and the Dolphin, are intended to teach children a lesson about honesty and dishonesty. So you'll notice that the sentences, and I'm going to go ahead and put these in blue. One, I had them actually highlight these in class. 3, ooh, get those in blue. 3 and 5. Okay. I am having students copy me word for word. And I use these sentences as a guide. So what I want you to do this time, and if you were using them, it's okay. Lean on me a little bit, but Srijan, you've been with me a long time. You know what you're doing. I want you to put those blue sentences in your own words. I'd like you to sound like you, not me. The only sentences you are allowed to copy, of course, are your topic sentences and end sentences. Okay, so similar to the fable, Mercury and the Woodman, children who show integrity by telling the truth as often as possible, typo, are often rewarded. Okay, so let's assume you told a lie in each of these scenarios. So first off, when children are at home, parents expect their child to be trustworthy even when they make a mistake. So a great example here is, let's say two brothers are playing with a ball in the house. And they're not supposed to play with the ball in the house, but mom's not in the room. And then all of a sudden, crash, right? Mom's favorite frame breaks. Mom rushes into the room. What happened to my frame? And both boys say, we don't know. It just fell off the table, right? But unbeknownst to the two boys, mom, like me, has a video camera. So she looks at the camera and notices they were playing ball. So she brought him in, showed him the video and said, really? You want to tell me now what happened to my frame? At which point they're going to come clean. Mom, we're so sorry. We were playing ball. We weren't supposed to. We broke the frame. I think it's going to go a long way that they were honest. Mom's probably still going to give them a punishment, like, go clean up the glass, right? Give me the ball. The ball's going in the trash. But I do think mom appreciates their honesty. Secondly, at school, children are expected to be forthright when the teacher asks them a question to correct them. And what I mean by that is you're going to mess up at school. You're going to make mistakes. So say, for example, I'm going to give you a fictitious name. There's a big test the next day, but Sean forgot all about it. He had a soccer game that night and didn't think anything about it, got all his homework done, forgot to study for the test. So when the teacher says, okay, it's time for the test, he panics. And he looks at his friend Walter's test while he's taking it, thinking he's being stealth and sneaky. But Mrs. Smart, love that name, catches him in the act. And when class is over, she calls him over and says, hey, I saw you looking at Walter's paper. Did you cheat? Right? I mean, this could go one of two ways. Oh, I just looked over there. I didn't cheat. Yeah, the teacher kind of caught him. It's not going to go well. But if he says, I panicked. I forgot to study. And normally I study, Mrs. Smart, but I don't know. I messed up. I made a mistake. I think the punishment's going to be better when they tell the truth. Maybe the teacher is going to say, well, I'll let you retake it tomorrow, but you'll only get, you will automatically get 10 points off, whatever the grade is. You know, maybe she'll show mercy to him. If he denied cheating, it's not going to go well. He's probably going to get a 0, right? So I'll be honest with you, you know, we teachers, we parents, friends are put in situations where we know you messed up. We know you're going to lie because we all do it, but be honest about your lie, right? Friends expect one another to be truthful even when they let another down. Let's say you promised your friend, it's in the vault. No one will know the secret you told me, right? And you blab it, which, you know, it's hard to keep a secret like that without telling it. And you could be clear what the secret was. Your friend finds out it was you. No, it wasn't me. Yeah, that's not going to go well. You probably just need to be open and say, it just came out. I didn't mean to. It just came out. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was so upset with myself. So I think it's how we respond when we lie that matters. And that's the point, right, of Mercury and the Woodman. It was how the Woodman responded, which was sincere and genuine, and how the other Woodman responded, which was deceptive, which was malicious. In contrast, and by the way, the second body paragraph is going to be a lot easier. The Monkey and the Dolphin explains what happens when children choose to tell both small white lies and big lies. It's human nature for children to tell small white lies, especially when they're intended to spare someone's hurt feelings. I don't think I have to tell you this example. I already gave you about 4 or 5, right? Someone gives you a birthday present, asks you if you like it. Even if you didn't like it, you say, it was great. Thank you so much. Second of all, if children get in the habit of telling too many white lies, the small lies can become big lies. Just an example to me is all the lies kids tell about homework. All the reasons your schoolwork is late or you didn't turn it in. My internet's down. You know, after a while, Shrijan, I start to lose faith in a student when it's lie after lie after lie after lie. And I think your teachers at school do the same. And then finally, when it comes to big lies, the unfortunate truth is they will harm everyone involved. And there's an example for that one. So I'm going to just end with the conclusion here. Unfortunately, it is human behavior to lie. This was shown in the 2 fables. I hate typos. Written thousands of years ago. Today, and this is the facts that kind of came, the average adult lies 3 times every 10 minutes. And then I gave the psychology experiment here. So this begs the question, why do we lie? The answer is often because the person doesn't want to hurt someone's feelings. These white lies seem to be more acceptable. However, when a child lies for personal gain or to protect themselves, this could lead them to become more accustomed to being dishonest. The problem with small lies is they can grow to bigger lies. Then a child will damage their relationships with parents, siblings, teachers, coaches, and friends. So all in all, the second fable's message, honesty is the best policy, are words to live by. Okay, I'm going to stop share, and this concludes lesson 3. Any questions? Got it? All right, Shrijan, you are good to go. Feel free to log off. This concludes lesson 3.
Thank you.